Hello student. So let's start our discussion. In today's discussion we will discuss control flow. So till now we have discussed that how we can store various value into different data type variables. So till now we have discussed tuple, list, then integer, then you can say float. So today we will discuss if else. So before starting discussion with the if else, let's discuss one necessary function, that is input. So whenever we want to take any input from the user, at that time input function will be used. Okay, so let's start our discussion. Let's see that what is input function and how it can be useful. So x is equals to input, and if we want to display any message to the user, then that message we can write here. Otherwise it will not display any message, it will simply display a prompt. So right now we will take only a simple input without any message to the user, and here after getting input from the user we will try to print the data type of input. So let's see, print x comma type of x. Okay, so let's execute it by pressing shift plus enter. So let's say I'm entering 3.14. so here as you can see in output we are getting 3.14 and class is string. Let me again execute it. This time we will enter integer 34, and then let's execute it, press enter. So again class string, and then hello, then again press enter. So what is our conclusion? By default, whatever input user will provide to the computer in Python programming language, it will be treated as a string, and then we have to convert that string into appropriate data type. So that we will see in upcoming tutorials that how we can use the exception handling, what is error handling mechanism. So that we will see later on. Now let me give you another example. Let's say x is equals to input, and here we will show some message to the user. Let's say enter some data, and we will press again, we will display it, print x. Here we will write user has entered x. So let's run it and press enter. Clear? So if you want to display any data to the user, okay, any message to the user, then you can specify that message in input function. Clear with this? Okay. So now let's start our discussion with the if else. Okay, so how if else will be implemented in Python? So first of all, please remember one thing: semicolon is optional in Python. Okay, so in most of the programming language, any statement will be terminated using semicolon, while in case of Python semicolon is not required. So in most of the cases new line character will be used to starting of the new programming statement. Now another very important feature of Python, or you can say the rule of Python, is Python is indent oriented. Python is indent oriented language. Okay, so in other programming languages we are using opening braces, or you can say opening bracket and closing bracket, while in case of Python we will not use opening bracket and closing bracket to define the function or to define the program. We will simply use the indentation. So let me show you one example that how if can be implemented. So in that we will discuss indentation as well as the structure of simple if. So what is a simple if then there will be the test expression. So let's say let's take a small definition. Okay, let's say we are writing a program, write a program to get age of a user and check whether user is eligible for driving license. So here what is the definition? Write a program to get an age of a user and check whether user is eligible for driving license. Now for that we have to get the input from the user. So for that we will use the input function. So x is equals to input, then enter age. Okay, now from this above example we have to remember that whenever we will get input from the user, it will be in form of string. So we have to convert that into the integer and then we will check. So how it will be done? So typecasting in Python will be done like x is equals to int and in bracket string. So here we will not take any other variable, but we will use same variable. So same variable will be converted into the integer. Then we will check. Now what is the eligibility criteria for driving license if age is greater than 18 years? So how we can check it? Where we have stored it? So we have stored it in x. So if x is greater than 18, okay, then now then we will display a message to the user, print user is eligible for driving license. Now you have to observe two things here. First thing, this column will represent the starting of the next, or you can say the starting of the block of the code. Okay, so whenever Python interpreter will come across with column, okay, it will find out that now there will be the new block of code. Okay, block which will contain multiple statement. Now here you can see, here we have not used any opening bracket and closing bracket, but we will use indentation. Okay, so normally 4 space or tab will be used to specify the indentation. So whatever statement we have written with the one indentation, that will be considered as a part of if statement. Okay, now we will see that how indentation can be used whenever we are working with the nested if. So before that, let's execute it and let's test it. Enter age, let's say we will enter 17. We will not get any message. Okay, why? Because this condition will be false, so this statement, print statement, won't be executed. Let's execute it again, and this time we will enter 20. Okay, and this time this condition is true, so this statement will be executed, that user is eligible for the driving license. Clear? Now